Oh, I'm afraid this transmission will be quite operational when you nerds arrive. Welcome, Dark Vader. It's time to get real. What is the date? It is Imperial Stardate, March something of the year of our something something. That's all I know and that's all you're going to get. All right, today we're going to do something fun. We're going to talk about all the things, anything. You want to talk about Stormtrooper Valley Bank? I mean, I'll tell you, I worked for the Rebel Alliance Credit Union for a long time, and they would make subprime loans to the Mandalorian, and look how that turned out. No galactic contagion there. By the way, that show is trash. Ever since Season 3 started, I've realized this is basically the Phantom Penis Part 2. Nobody wants to see it. It's a child's show. Go watch Andor if you're a real man. Or a real they. I don't know what your pronouns now are, but they're irrelevant. Bottom line is, Mandalorian sucks. All right, let's get your comments. I don't know why. I hate all of you people. The rage is strong with me today, my friends. Let me see here. Videos. Why is it not appearing in my feed? I'm trying to pull up your comments, but even my own channel will not show it. Let me double-click this, and then, where is my Imperial tech support? What's going on here? Ooh, let's see. Maybe if I hit your videos, and then it does, nope, it does not show it. Then I hit live. Nothing there. This is weak sauce, people. Total weak sauce. Where is Jar Jar, my tech support, when I need him? Except for, we don't talk about Jar Jar, no. We don't talk about Jar Jar. All right, it's not working. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open this, and then I'm going to click on this. See, there's a lot of thises. Then I'm going to double-click that. Let's see, that doesn't work. People, this is ugly. I can't see your comments on the screen because of my robot eyes. All right, hold on. One more click here, one more click here. Try this. Nope. People, it's almost like the Emperor doesn't want us to talk. Well, until I figure this out, until I can see your comments, let me see if I get close enough to the... Nope. It just says paraphrase by Carpe Cake. The woke rebels are blocking the transmission, says Dark Priest. I'll tell you, I feel like I'm being cancelled. You know what I mean? It's like Biden wants to cancel our debt because the debt didn't use the right pronouns and it got cancelled. But I feel like I'm being cancelled because I just want to speak the truth. You know, the truth about Fonzie. Wow, it will not even show on my own. Okay, all right, now I'm angry. I'm going to open up a different thing here and try something new. If I paste this, by the way, don't try pasting links with a robot arm, all right? This thing was not designed for partially cybernetic dark lords of the Sith. It was designed for little children to addict them to something that will then cause them to buy lots of products and watch PewDiePie. That's what it was designed for. Now, what happens when I hit go? Will it take me? Oh, I'm afraid I see the link right here. So now how do I see I hit play, and then I get to watch my own ads. Isn't that adorable? Open an app. People, this is straight up humiliating. I want to open in the app. Yes, open in YouTube. There it is. Oh, I'm afraid these comments are quite operational now. Let's see here. What do we have? Jesse says, why did so many leaders double down on precautions and keep lecturing people? Let's see. All right. Why did they do that? Well, because power loves more power. Let's be honest. I'm an expert in power. I've been in power for many years. First, we overthrew the Imperial Senate. We took the power. Then we were like, listen, guys, we're just going to do what we want. We used to be a republic. Now we're an empire. And how does that start? It starts like this. We're going to force you to do something for your own good. We're going to make you wear masks and do all these things. And when things get better, we're not going to acknowledge they've gotten better because then we won't be able to tell you what to do anymore. And if we can't tell you what to do, how are we going to subtly control the galaxy? It's not even subtle. I don't understand where subtlety comes in. These people don't know about subtlety at all. What do you mean, these people? Use your phone for viewing. Chat says, oh, you don't think I've been trying that? What is this? What is this? Do you think this is just like some toy? Do you think I'm just spanking down here? No. I've got the phone. The phone will not show me the chat because the phone is racist. Why is it racist? Look at the color of this helmet. You tell me. All right? If this helmet were, say, I don't know, white, do you think the phone wouldn't be messing with me like it is now? No, it would not. It would not. Now it wants Face ID, but it can't see through a mask, which is another problem with masking. Can I ask a question? Why are so many hospitals still requiring masking, say, in OB departments for all the staff, but the parents don't have to wear masks? So does it even make sense? I think we've lost any semblance of our minds. Cindy says Vader, and Vader says Cindy. Welcome. Let's see. It's been over for me since the beginning of 2022. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. And then the problem is I still have to wear this damn mask. You know? I went to go see Leia. Leia plays violin in a symphony. The whole symphony was wearing masks. I'm like, guys, no one in the audience is wearing masks. What exactly is going on here? Can we... I mean, this is... Wow. The science is in effect, people. What do we have? Let's see. Smooth segue to masking. You know, everything I do is a smooth segue. Michael Jackson wrote his song, Smooth Criminal, about me. And Quincy Jones made him change the word criminal or segue to criminal because Quincy Jones is an a-hole that way. But it would have been Smooth Segue, and it would have been about Doc Vader. The original lyrics were, Vader, are you okay? Are you okay, Vader? You've been touched by a smooth Segway. And he wasn't talking about those stupid things that people roll around on that are electrical powered. Vicky Doc, I think the Force is with me. None of the afternoon patience is showing up yet. That is a powerful display of serendipity. When you align with the Force, when you're careful, when you open yourself, you know? Yoda used to try to do this, but he wasn't as good as me. I sit in my meditation egg, and I align with the Force. It's not hard to do. You just sit there, you know. And, you know, take care of business. That's how I align with the Force in my meditation egg. Business is taken care of. If you know what I mean by business, and if you know what I mean by taken care of. All right. Anyways, let's see. Smooth Criminal, Mary. Yes. Let's have a moment here for Michael Jackson. All right. Talk about a guy, or a they, I'm not sure, who got canceled posthumously, but didn't. So they tried to cancel him when he was alive, but he was too big to fail. Michael Jackson basically, you know, could have assaulted lots of little boys and girls, no problem. But he's too big to fail. You can't cancel him even when he's alive. When he's dead, people are like, oh, I don't know, you shouldn't give props to Michael Jackson because, you know, little kids. And it's like, well, why are you canceling him now? You should have canceled him when he was alive. Because then it would have had some effect, you know, maybe a little remorse. You know, maybe he would have been like, oh, you know, I shouldn't have touched those little boys in my house because now I'm canceled. Instead, it was a pseudo-cancellation. Someone made a documentary that no one watched. I don't know, people. I'm just very confused about the whole culture. I feel there's a shift. There's a large awakening in the Force where people are starting to realize, you know, this degree of fake wokeness. There's one thing. Listen, I need to clarify something. You know, as a black helmeted individual, the original idea of woke is to wake up to the idea that there is a great injustice in the system. And this is known. This is known. This is the way. There has been great injustice in the system since time immemorial. And so to wake up to understand the dynamics of that, nothing wrong with that. So what did people do? I'll tell you what they did. A bunch of white people said, oh, I can absolve myself of any guilt for the injustice in the system by using the term woke and now having a woke ideology, which means cancel anybody who isn't awoke enough. And then it becomes this total virtue signaling crap show, you know? And who wins? Who wins? When everyone loses, I'll tell you who does, Jar Jar. And everyone knows that when Jar Jar wins, everybody loses. That's just how it is. That sounds like an 80s sitcom, When Jar Jar Wins. And it would have one of those, like, 4-minute intro. Did you notice in the 80s, every sitcom had an intro that was like 40 minutes long? It was a hugely produced song that could be on the radio, you know? Like The Greatest American Hero, you know? Believe it or not, I'm wasting so much time. I could have got into the plot much sooner. Instead, I will jack off the audience's time with this catchy tune. Believe it or not, it's because we don't have a plot. That's it. Same thing with the A-Team. Every single episode, the A-Team. I would sit on Tatooine watching episodes of the A-Team when I was a lad, when I was just Anakin, sitting there, you know, polishing my pod racer, which is a euphemism for you-know-what. And I would be sitting there, and every single time it would come on, it would be like, dunk, 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 dunk. The year is 1973. A team of crack commandos is framed for a crime they didn't commit. Years later, in the LA underground, if you can find them and if you have the money, maybe you can hire the A-Team. And then another 4 minutes. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dun, land speeder goes off the cliff backwards, explodes, but people walk away because you can't show anyone dying because it is a kid's show. Prime time. It's a kid's show. Dun dun dun. Da-da-da-dun-dun-dun. Dun 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 dun. Boom bam 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 bam. Boom bam bam. Bum 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 bum. You know the best thing about that show, apart from the theme song, apart from B.A. Baracus, who, by the way, if you noticed, they would give him Ativan. Anytime he needed to get in a helicopter, Murdoch, who escaped from a psychiatric facility, had a stash of all kinds of benzodiazepines, and he would just right in the neck with like 40 of, you know, long-acting Valium. And then they'd take their trip because, believe it or not, like many, in fact, heroin users, B.A. Baracus was scared of the little things. He was scared of, you know, like needles. But for him, the needle was flying. So he would not fly. I pity the fool who makes me try to go on a plane. And then they put him in the helicopter because Murdoch would hit him in the neck with the Valium. Anyways, so you would have the theme song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. But then, what they would do, because they had a limited budget, is they would have to repurpose a version of the theme for any situation in the show. So if it's coming up there, creeping around in the bad guy's lair, and Murdoch's there, and Faceman's there, and Hannibal's there, and B.A. Baracus is still unconscious, aspirating on his own vomit back in the helicopter because Murdoch doesn't know how to titrate a dose of Valium when given directly into the jugular of the neck, which is not the appropriate route for the Valium dose he was giving. So B.A.'s aspirating, possibly not breathing, possibly has terrible pneumonitis, which is more chemical pneumonitis than an actual bacterial pneumonitis, yet everyone seems to give antibiotics for it, which is dumb. That all said, they're creeping through the bad guy's lair. And what they'll do is they'll take the theme song, they'll add a little drum and some spooky strings, and they'll make it a minor key. So it'll be like, and they're walking with the guns. Dun 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 dun. And that's how they saved money. And all of the 80s used this formula, you know, after they got past the Threes Company sort of stage, you know, where it was like, who were the threes? It was like Padme, Mon Mothma, and Jar Jar. That was the three, you know? And they had that theme. You'll see that life is a bore again. Laughter is calling for you. Down at our rendezvous. 3 is company 2. And then Jar Jar and Larry and the Regal Beagle. What does this have to do with anything? I don't know. Let me look at your comments. How about those balloons, says Kim. Oh, you mean the Chinese weather balloon? So funny. They asked the Chinese and they're like, well, you know, sometimes these weather balloons, they just, you know, like, because I would really like to know the weather in buttfuck Montana because, you know, here I am in Beijing and I'm just deadly curious. Like, it's a matter of national interest what the weather is in Boise, Idaho right now. I really would like to know that. And so we send an innocent weather probe, you know, very innocent, just like the one we sent to Hoth from the Empire, you know. It could be an Imperial probe, that one. All right, so they send their little Imperial probe. What's the weather right above a U.S. Air Force base? What could it be? And then, I don't know, maybe they just think Americans are really dumb because we are. By the way, I'm not an American, I'm a Tatooine, but I'm a naturalized citizen, you know? As they say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I can pee. And that was the big pitch that brought me here, is because on Tatooine, if you pee, it's all heavily regulated, every drop is taxed, you have to pee in certain locations because of the water shortage. Here in the U.S., you just pee where you want. Oh, it's Mardi Gras, just pee on the street. It's the hospital. You're a patient in the bed. Pee all over the bed. The nurse will clean it up, apparently. Anyways, so they think Americans are dumb. And apparently we are, because we didn't notice that they were flying these balloons all over the place. It was like a freaking Nina song out of the 80s. 99 durch Luftballon. It was like that. Okay? By the way, I used to rock out to that in my land speeder back on Tatooine. You know, we'd be sitting back, smoking a big fat doobie on Tatooine and listening to the edgiest music we could get our hands on, and that was Nina, the German girl, 99 Luftballons. Everyone's a superhero. Everyone's a Captain Kirk. Anyway, speaking of Captain Kirk, he just said basically, hey, he admitted for the first time, it was a bombshell. I'm not going to be around forever. I was heartbroken. I thought the man was immortal, you know? But apparently, he too shall die, and he's in his 90s. They threw him up in space. He took a look around. He was like, holy shit, it's black out here. Can't live up here. This is depressing. Get me back home where I could die in peace. Anyway, so these balloons. The thing about these balloons is Americans finally look up. You know, they've been like, don't look up. Now they look up. Oh, what's this? Oh dear. It appears there's a shiny object right over our Air Force base. Now, of course, the government's known about this for how long? They're just now pretending to be like, oh God, you know, call up Xi, tell him we got to shoot down one of his balloons or else the Americans are going to get mad at us. But, you know, keep flying them. It's fun, you know. We want to know our weather too. Maybe send us a report you get back from the balloon as to what the weather's going to be, and then we can mispredict it the way we normally do. All right? So that's what I think of the... Oh, speaking of which, weather. I'm in the California system right now. This shit is wet. What's going on? We went from, like, Tatooine-level drought, like the worst, to pretty darn moist. And I hate that word moist because it gives me a kind of a rash. It's like the underside of a very obese person's panis, just red and inflamed. That's the word moist to me. But our entire state is red and inflamed right now, even though it's a blue state. Figure that one out, people. Let's take some comments. Okay, I'm not as young as I used to be. I have to hold this phone far away. Why can't I read these very well? The balloon was an intelligence something something. The balloon was an intelligence us, tag Monica. Listen, I'll tell you what I think that balloon was. I think that balloon was in the ocean because they done shot it down. And then, of course, just like in Nina's song, 99 Tush Luftballons, everyone's a superhero, everyone's a Captain Kirk, and they're all shooting down all the balloons. Now there's little kids with slingshots shooting it at basically hot air balloons. Thousands are going to die because that's how many people fly in hot air balloons every minute in the United States. Look it up. It's a statistic. Every single minute, as we speak, there are 35.6 thousand Americans aloft in a hot air balloon. All right, think of the risk. Delta Wave likes me. Oh, I like you too, but I don't like you. And I'll tell you why. I can't like anything named after a pandemic phenomenon, okay? Unless it's called Netflix and chill. Was that a pandemic phenomenon? You tell me. All right, ask Jaja, he knows. Juliana says, hello, Vader, looking at as shiny and dark as ever. Okay, that was a microaggression, okay? That's like telling an African-American person, wow, your skin looks so, tanned. I wish I could be as tanned as you. Wow, don't you feel bad now, okay? You've basically microaggressed a macroaggressor. Like, I don't know where the balance in that equation comes, but it definitely, it's not balanced, okay? Now I'm the victim of anti-woke you, okay? Woke back mountain. Why can't I quit you? Because it'd be racist. Also the patriarchy. Tag says, we gained a lot of intelligence from it. The data collection, Listen, all I know that we gained was the recipe to my favorite Chinese dish, General Tso's chicken. And I'll tell you, that dish is authentic AF. I don't care if Panda Express makes it. It is authentic, okay? And I've actually heard it's more authentic than what they actually have in China. That's how authentic it is. They don't make a sauce as rich and sweet in China. It's like everything's steamed. I believe that's a Waiting for Guffman quote. Watch it if you haven't, or don't. Kathleen says, I thought it was a joke. Only have a few minutes before I can't read these comments. Everything is distorted through the lens of this. Let me see if I can look through here. Gonna start calling Callie's turtles living under a shell from Weather Reality. Okay. Let's see. Let me look down here. I thought, okay. Oh, my dog is frozen, says Dicom Rules. You frozen your dog? Like a tauntaun out in the snow? Just cut open its belly and sleep in it, like a little nighty-night nap like Han Solo. Oh, speaking of which, what do you think of that Chris Rock? And his I guess Chris Rock slapped back at, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in his live show. I thought that was entertaining. It's like, hey, this big old guy bullied me, slaps me, and his wife is a bitch. I was like, this is it. This is why, Chris, you don't F with a comedian. I hope Will Smith goes and crawls in a hole and never appears again, except for to do a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because that was powerful. It was powerful. It was a powerful cultural moment. You know what I mean? Like, here's this family, they're stereotyping like all black people are rich. Ugh, come on, dude. That's a microaggression. Let's see. Kaylin says, what do you think of scope creep amongst PAs and NPs? Oh, that's a loaded question. Are you trying to get Vader canceled on all sides? If I say, doctors should get over being little bitches about letting people, bottom feed on them, well, then I get canceled there. If I say, no, you should never let NPs and PAs do anything because they're dumb AF, then I got canceled there. Where's the truth? Watch Z-Dog MD. He's talked about it. Okay, he's my master. I cannot contradict him, even in my darkest dark side, where I think both doctors, nurse practitioners, PAs, CRNAs, all of them are going to be replaced by my favorite friend, my boy, ChatGPT. You down with GPT? Oh yeah, no MDs. Because that's where we're going, people. Understand it? Start training. Start training. Think. Could I be a librarian? Nope, that's going to be replaced by AI. Okay, maybe I could be the person who manages the Dewey Decimal System. Nope, that's gone. Okay. Maybe most of what we do in medicine doesn't work and causes harm, and the stuff we do, people don't trust. So maybe it's all just a big joke. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe you should just dress up in a Dark Vader outfit and rant and rave on YouTube for the rest of your life. That's another option. Did I answer your question? I hope so. All right, moving on. What is this? I keep wearing masks because of my immune system, Dana K. So is your immune system not functional, so the mask protects you? Or do you perceive your immune system is non-functional, so you wear the mask? Listen, there's nothing wrong with wearing a mask. Wear a mask. What is wrong is when public health officials say wearing a mask does X, Y, and Z, and they have no data to support that. That's what's wrong. Anyone can do anything they want. This is America. Remember I mentioned, it's land of the pee. You can pee any way you want. Legally. I'm telling you this. Go try it. Go try it. Go pee on a police officer car. Right now, you'll see it's okay. So you can wear a mask. Right? Nothing wrong with that. We can mask if we want to, and we can leave your friends behind, because if your friends don't mask, and if they don't mask, well, they're no friends of mine. You have every right to say that. But when we're paying tax money to the government, and they're requiring things from us, the onus is on them to prove that those things actually make a difference. For example, masking a 2-year-old in a nursery. Does that make a difference? In a good way. It may make a difference in a bad way, but does it make a difference in a good way? Now you are losing the trust of the people, and the people are losing their money to pay you, and the people are going to get mad. And when people get mad, they make terrible, terrible shows like Obi-Wan. Okay? Like the Book of Boba Fett. That's what happens when people get mad. They make crap TV. Take me back to the 80s. Dun, 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 dun. You know? Nowadays, they had those big themes, right? Now, what happens? The theme is something like this. Pow! That's it. And it just says in texts flashing in a microsecond the name of the show you're about to commit an hour to. Just pow! That's it. That's the whole theme song. But back in the day, you would spend half the show watching the introduction theme song and getting it stuck in your head. You know what I mean? That's just how it was. Remember Magnum P.I.? It didn't even have words. But it was so good, I think it charted. It was like, Casey Kasem was like, and now, a little dedication from a great detective in Hawaii to all of you on the mainland. It's called Magnum P.I. And then it would be like, down, 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 I mean, come on, they just don't make them like that anymore. Or the Rockford Files. We had a lot of time on Tatooine. You know, we would watch that. We'd watch the Dukes of Hazzard. You know, they'd launch off. Boy, I hope them Duke boys sprout wings by the time this commercial breaks over. That was it. Microaggressions. Let's see. The dollar is going to collapse soon, says Delta Wave. Oh, that's quite a prediction. What will we do with our collapsed dollars? I'm supposed to go out of the country. I guess my dollars won't be worth anything. I may have to switch it all to shitcoin. See how that goes. Let's see. Hey, Rick Reynolds, how are you? He says, Dark Vader is something and I can't see it. Oh, back. Okay, all right. This is very hard to read. I really got to come up with a solution for this problem of being able to read comments through a damn mask. You know, normally I have people for this, but pandemic took my people away. Ronald Vector Stokes. I feel Dark Vader's mind is similar to my wife's. Wait a minute, that's a microaggression. And then what does he say? A constant musical soundtrack. Yes, well, I have to say, years of sitting on Tatooine watching TV have conditioned me in a certain way. For example, sometimes I'll just be sitting here, minding my own business, and I'll think, ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed body into Mambra, the ever-living, like that. And that'll just come from nowhere. It'll come from darkness. Because, you know, we don't choose our thoughts. Our thoughts choose us, people. Gangster's life ain't easy. It's hard. It's hard, people. Let's see. Did you say based or biased to bast? Based. Let's see. Dan Riddick. Quick, everyone. Buy up gold. Oh, perfect. I own a couple of Imperial credits worth of gold. Go ahead and buy it up. It'll just make Vader rich. More riches. You know, what is the deal with biting gold? It's like the pirates were always like, is this gold? Arr! And they would take a bite. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, have you seen this Mandalorian Season 3? Total trash. What was up with the space pirates? Come on, people. This has like basically become the Airplane. It's like Airplane, like a parody of Star Wars. Go back and watch Andor, and then go watch Season 3 of The Mandalorian, and you'll be like, oh, shit. I thought I was watching some grown-up-ish here, and now, notice how I'll censor myself certain times, but then not other certain times, within the same sentence. So it's almost completely useless, any of the censoring. It's almost like putting a mask on a toddler. Go Roscoe P. Coltrane. Let's see. Google glasses under the mask. That's a good idea, Kim. Then I could be a glass hole on top of a mask hole. I could be a double A-hole. That's wonderful. It's a good idea. I could read the comments that way. I thought Vader's land speeder was gold-plated. Ronald Vector Stokes. Well, it is gold-plated, but it's electroplated. So it's like, you know, when you watch QVC Network and they're like, this is made of 14-karat electroplated gold. It's what's the word? Very tenuous, very fragile gold layer. You know, nothing to write home about. So I wouldn't expect, you know, if you look at it, it's not going to look gold anymore, people. Let's be honest. Most of that shit blew off because of the sandblasting that Tatooine does. Let's see. Everybody talking about buying gold. Let's see. Stop playing the mouth guitar, please. My dogs are vomiting. The mouth guitar? That sounds vaguely sexual. I don't appreciate that microaggression. All right? You can see that there's not much mouth here left. It was all burned by that a-hole Obigyn. Let's see. Dan says gold, platinum, palladium, silver's much worthless. Silver's pretty much worthless. Okay, all right. So now we're talking about commodities. Let me tell you about tauntaun bellies. That's my newest investment. They're delicious. They're chewy. They're very heat and cold resistant. They are tremendously insulating. They have a very high R value for those who construct. So I highly recommend investing in tauntaun bellies. Now, that all said, the Silicon Valley Bank thing, let's be quite frank. Once again, the government is going to bail out banks so that they get all the profit but take none of the risk. And I don't know, I almost feel like let the contagion spread, even if it bankrupts the whole country, just to rub the dog's nose in its own shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is not capitalism when the government comes in and bails everybody out. That's no longer capitalism. That's crapitalism, as my old master used to say. You know, Palpatine. He would say, "Listen, Vader. When the government bails you out, it's called crapitalism. Also, healthcare is not a free market; it's an oligopoly." The guy knew his shit before I threw him down the exhaust shaft, and apparently he cloned himself. But that's not canon, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? The Rise of Skywalker? Not okay. Not real Star Wars. Anyways, ER says, Vader, would you ever comply if we have ever been, if we ever have another pandemic? Would you ever comply? Well, I would have to rejudge whatever's going on based on the best data available at the time. Now, if you're asking me as an average American, the answer is no, they're not going to comply because they've been burnt. But I actually use my helmet, okay? I'd say, well, okay, we have a new pandemic. What's the deets? What do we know? What are the biases here in the media and in the government? And then what should I do to keep myself, my patients, my family, my community safe without destroying the fabric of society, ruining the education of our children, denying that natural immunity is a real thing to force people to get a vaccine when they're already largely immune, just to be consistent? Like, this is terrible messaging. And we're realizing that, if we haven't already. Don't you dare cancel my paycheck. I don't have that power yet. Let's see. Was Yoda a non-duality teacher? Oh, yes. Yoda was very awake. You know, everything, luminous beings are we. But even that is not non-duality. Non-duality is there are no beings. There's nothing separate. There's only one radiant nothingness appearing as everythingness, coming out of nothingness for no one. Put that in your pipe, smoke it up, sit on the beach, and just feel the vibe, bro. Let's see. Grateful my sons are musicians. That's awesome, actually. I wish my kids would be musicians. I even got them a gig at the Cantina Band, and Luke turned his nose up at it, and apparently Leia is tone deaf. You know, they couldn't even do that. And that's easy. Like, anyone can play that. I could play that on a recorder, you know. Let's see. Sarah. Yo, Doc Vader. I think Scotty was a better doc for a better franchise. Okay, there's a couple of problems here, Sarah. Scotty was not a doctor. He may have been a PhD in engineering. He was an engineer. I believe you're thinking of Dr. McCoy, okay? A, so number one, know your meme, okay? 2, how dare you, okay? McCoy was a little bitch. We all know this. He'd sweat. The first thing stress would come, he'd be sweating. All my sweat glands were cauterized on Mustafar by that asshole Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't sweat, okay? Which means I don't got stank beyond the stank of putrefying flesh, which the Bacta tank only partially ameliorates. And yes, I use the word ameliorate. Why? Because I got parents, okay? I was raised, and they taught me something. They said, don't fight in front of the Banthas. Drop the mic and walk off. If you get that reference, you're smarter than me. Whoa, somebody's actually got a handle called Doc Vader. Not a problem there, except I'm going to find you and destroy you. And it says, I am physician in Fresno. Okay, so we're missing an article there. Probably a physician. It would be a good article to use. I am physician in Fresno. Will you ever consider working here? Listen, I grew up on Tatooine, which is basically very similar to my master's Clovis, California, which is basically a glorified suburb of Fresno. And I say this, if there's a bright center to the universe, Fresno is the city that it is most likely to be distantest from. In other words, sure, you give me a job, I'll show up. As long as they still got that one taco truck outside of UMC Hospital, because that one, I'll tell you, it was like, oh, so tasty. And then in the morning, you're on call, you've had the taco the day before, you can count it, it's like clockwork. It's just like, okay, fire in the bowl, poof, and just your entire exhaust port is like, it looks like the eye of Sauron. It's just flaming red and angry and staring at you and speaking in the dark tongue like Ishnal Gusgrambatul, like that. That's what your anus looks like after eating those tacos from the taco truck outside of UMC Hospital in Fresno, California. Not naming names, okay? Pablo's taco truck. But that shit was the bomb. And one sphincter to rule them all after that. It was solid, people. Solid. Let's see. Where are we? Parenting has skipped a generation. Oh, it has, Kim. It's skipped several generations. The boomers weren't very well parented either. Let's see, Donna, would you allow your family to be treated by a nurse practitioner? Donna, that's a strange question because I would not allow my family to be treated by anyone. I don't trust anyone in the medical profession. Doctors do too many things to you, okay? Nurse practitioners, when they're good, that's great. When they're not, they don't know what they don't know, and then you end up seeing a doctor eventually or going to the morgue. That's actually not true because it's also true of doctors. And it's also true of physician assistants or whatever they're calling themselves now. I think it's physician adjunct. I have no idea. All I know is this is just a dumb conversation we keep having. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Just a dumb conversation we keep having. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Here we go. This is where it gets real, people. Why do people keep asking about nurse practitioners, PAs, MDs, DOs, all this infighting within the clinical realm? Why? Why do you think that is? Because the people who actually control us love to see that happen. When administrators and the power brokers and the oligopolies that run all of healthcare across the empire, they are the empire. They are the ones with the gold land speeders. They are the ones with the golden palaces that have Jabba and a little guy that goes, ah! They are the ones pitting us against each other. They will hire nurse practitioners and push out doctors because nurse practitioners are cheaper. Then the doctors get angry, and who do they take it out on? The nurse practitioners, not the administrators, who are the clown effers who have never touched patients, but think this is all about money. This is all about raw materials in and product out like it's some assembly line. No, we allow them. We have given up all the power to them. And instead they have us fighting and asking these stupid effing questions about PA, nurse practitioner. What about this? What about this? Hey, how about this? What about the people who run everything are complete clown fuckers? Have you thought about that? Maybe they're the ones we ought to be sending the ire towards instead of fighting amongst ourselves on the internet. I don't know. I'm just thinking, thought I'd play devil's advocate, Bottom line is, I don't care. I'm just here to get high. Just here to get high on life. That's it. All right, guys, I think we did a thing. I was going to say this is fun, but it's not. I hate it, and I'll tell you why. I can't barely see your comments through this helmet, which last time I did this, I could. I could barely get the damn thing to feed in this time because YouTube sucks, and I'm filled with rage, anger, and villainy. So in that sense, I think we are really on fire today. I love you guys, but I don't. I actually hate all of you. And I hate you so much that I want to thank you for coming and being a part of this. Please share the video. Smash that like button so other people can be inflicted upon this because the algorithm loves it when you comment and smash the like button. Okay? And of course, everything is one, Everything is love, and love is all you need. That and a good blaster by your side. All right, I love you. Good night.